something everyone considers when thinking of working abroad. But why is foreign exchange so important?
Well, you're quite right. A lot of people don't consider the currency element until, unfortunately, the very last minute. But when most people's major purchase in their life is a family home, if you imagine selling that family home, selling all your investments, selling your car, gathering all your money and transferring it to another country, then that actual purchase is an enormous amount of money in comparison to anything else. Getting the right exchange rate is so important to that whole process, and unless you consider that early enough in the process of migrating, then you stand a very good chance of missing out on some very attractive exchange rates. So you're quite right. I think a lot of people don't consider it until the last minute, but I would urge them to do so.
Not wanting to get too technical, but do exchange rates fluctuate, and what impact do they have?
They do. They fluctuate enormously. The currency market is the largest financial market in the world. The recent figures showed something like $2.47 trillion is transacted every day, and obviously that causes a huge amount of movement in exchange rates. If you take a currency like the sterling Australian dollar exchange rate, that can move 7 or 8% per month. So if you're considering moving all of your money into another currency and you can gain 7 or 8% just through timing of the transaction, then that's an enormous difference to how you start your new life in your new country. It may be that'll make the difference between the type of house you can buy. It may mean it pays for children's schooling or reduces the mortgage you need to have, but getting it right can make a huge difference.
So David, exchange rates can be volatile. How can Halo Financial help?
It's really about recruiting somebody who can help you through the process. Most people involved in migrating to another country are already having to become quite expert at visa processes, quite expert at how they're going to handle their investment transfers and those sort of things, and then going through all the rigmarole of saying goodbye to their family, etc. So to have to become an expert in currencies at the same time is really a bit beyond the pale. So having somebody on your side who can monitor the exchange rates, who can keep you up to date with the movement in the market, can explain that movement in terms that, layman's terms, not jargon, and can put that into the context of what you need to do, and then help you devise a strategy to transfer your money into the new currency at the right exchange rate is enormously important to you. And what Halo Financial will do is to provide all of those services. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is to get as much money for your sterling or your euros that you're selling when you're buying your Australian dollars, your New Zealand dollars, your Canadian dollars, or whatever.
David, at what stage in the process of moving abroad should someone contact a money broker, such as yourselves, to transfer their money?
I guess the conversation can start as early as possible. It's always worth having a sort of an exploratory conversation with a broker, with a consultant who can understand your requirements and talk you through how those requirements can play out in the currency exchange itself. You probably don't want to start moving money until you actually have a visa, you're definitely going to go, and plans are in place to start opening a bank account in the country you're going to. So you possibly don't want to start buying currency until that point, but certainly to understand what's happening in the market and to be able to take advantage if we suddenly have a huge spike in the exchange rate that would be advantageous, then certainly that's worth knowing about in the early stages. And if you haven't had that conversation with the broker early on, then you're not going to have the opportunity to take advantage of that.